evening, ghosts and ghouls. You're listening to a horrible podcast.
Good evening. We're back. We've been on hiatus. High. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder.
And today we're going to be talking about the vamps.
Yes,
Pyres.
indeed. We're going to be talking about the Draculas and the vampires, and all of this is to get ready for the new...
All that sucky stuff.
Yeah, to get ready for the new Renfield movie coming out
Renfield.
in just a few days.
Dracula.
So we're going to go over our top 5 favorite vampire films, and at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about the vampire genre in general and some other movies that we think is worthwhile mentioning.
Yeah, we're kind of doing our countdown a little bit different, so bear with us on this episode.
Absolutely.
All right.
We're going to start off with our top 5 because we have a whole lot of other vampire movies we'd like to talk about, so we want to go ahead and get the top 5 out of the way.
And then we're also going to go over a couple lists and see if we agree or disagree.
Yeah, some of these top vampire lists online, we'll be doing a reaction to those and see if we agree with them based on what we say right here.
Yeah. So, number 5.
Number 5. We're going to do me.
I'll do you.
Ew.
Yes.
Number 5 on my list comes from 1992, and it's Bram Stoker's Dracula. It is the one with Keanu Reeves and Sir Anthony Hopkins and a bunch of other people that you know. Gary Oldman plays Dracula in this film. This was a direct, take from the original book.
Yeah.
This was more true to the original book than any other Dracula movie that came before or after this. And it's one of those movies that is synonymous with, my memory, because I remember renting this movie from the video store all the time.
Same.
And I remember it scared the shit out of me, especially, Gary Oldman as, Dracula, because you see him young, you see him old, you see him turn into a bat, you see him turn into a fucking werewolf. This is not just your typical Hollywood vampire. This is like a
very
guy.
Dark.
Yeah. It's a very dark, this guy can literally turn into anything he wants to, but his primary story is he needs blood to stay alive, and he's kind of tormented because he's got this gift of living forever, but he's also got this curse of, you guessed it, living forever.
Right. This is actually on my list at number 5 too, funny enough, because I was very torn about this movie. Yeah, you touched on it. The creepy, I can't remember any vampire movie is very dark and dirty feeling. It just feels like you're there, you're sucked into it, and
yeah, it's just a very different take because
it hasn't been another vampire movie like it, to get that feeling and that look and the accurate adaptation of it.
Yeah, it takes that classic, the vampire falls in love and, with Winona Ryder's character.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everything that happens in the movie is, so evil. He's truly evil because it showed him before he was the blood-sucking fiend from beyond the grave. He was actually a general in a fucking war.
Right.
And that's where he acquired his powers from.
Yeah, you get that, human connection.
And you find out that, indeed, the origins of Dracula, he is Romanian.
Yeah.
So, he's Italian, I guess, right?
Dracula.
Isn't Romania in Italy?
I don't know. We're stupid.
Maybe Romania is in Romania.
All I know is romaine lettuce, and I like it.
Yeah.
My Caesars.
I'm a pretty big fan of Italian horror films myself.
Number 4.
Number 4 on my list comes from 1996. It is From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's on my list, but it's actually higher.
Yeah, well, I'll say my little 2 cents about this. From Dusk Till Dawn.
You can elaborate. It's not gonna.
Dusk Till Dawn is, again, a very unique vampire film. All the movies in my top 5 are unique in certain ways. That's why I picked them. But Dusk Till Dawn is very unique because it doesn't start off as a vampire film. It starts off as these 2 brothers that are on the run from the law, and you think that it is your typical, Rodriguez / Tarantino kind of oddball film, and it is to a certain point, and then they get to the titty twister.
I love the titty twister.
The titty twister, which is full of topless dancers in Mexico, but also is a hangout spot for vampires.
Yes.
And vampire victims. So, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino and, just a bunch of people play in this film. You have Mr. Tom Savini playing in the film. And you want to talk about very unique. This movie is a Robert Rodriguez / Quentin Tarantino kind of mesh up of what their version of a vampire film would be, and it's absolutely wonderful. And just to put a cherry on top, this was the first ever movie I ever watched on DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. You know what? I can't remember.
Back in the day, guys, DVDs used to be like $30 and $40 a piece.
I can't remember.
Now you can go to Walmart and get them for $5 in a bin.
I know I saw this on VHS. Actually, you know what? I think I saw this on TV. Like Sci-Fi. Excuse me. Damn, a hiccup burped.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
I saw it on Sci-Fi first.
Don't get me
and
wrong.
And then, when I saw it in the video store, I rented it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The first time I saw this film was on a VHS, but this was the first movie I ever saw on DVD. Like, the first time I ever watched a DVD was Dusk Till Dawn.
Ah, okay.
So I had seen the movie. Of course, I rented it from the video store, and I had seen it probably on HBO or something back in the past.
Yeah.
But when DVDs were getting popular, excuse me.
Hello. We just had Mexican. Sorry. Bear with my fucking co-host.
Yeah, we had Mexican, and we were talking about Mexican vampires, basically, in this movie.
Pretty much, actually.
Yeah. But that was my number 4. Love that movie. Go ahead.
My number 4 might be a little controversial, but it's okay. It's going to be from 1979, and that's Salem's Lot.
Okay.
Is this on your list by chance?
Yep.
Well, then I'm not going to beat a dead horse. The fucking movie is just... It's probably the one movie I saw as a kid that creeped me out. Like, the way he looks in this movie, they look, from Nosferatu, pretty much.
Yeah.
With the yellow eyes. There's something about fucking yellow contacts and eyes. It is just disturbing.
The bald head and the yellow contacts, and
the 2 main fangs, being the front teeth.
The front teeth instead of being on the side.
Yeah, I mean, you got David Soul, James, Masson, was it Reggie Nealer?
I don't know. You're reading them.
Just I can't remember the cast, so
I don't remember any of them's names. I can tell you about the movie just fine, though.
You know, I'm not going to dive into it. If you haven't seen it, it's a great, dark, creepy. It's close to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, it has the same dark, creepy feel to it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to elaborate on it. You know, it's directed by Tobe Hooper. I mean, that's enough said right there. That should be enough hook and bait for you.
Well, coming in at number 3 on my list is from 1985, and it's the original Fright Night.
Oh, it almost made my list.
Fright Night is wonderful. It is exactly what you want when you think of 80s horror movies, and you think of the 80s horror movies that have a little bit of kind of a wink in it and a little bit of, kind of a horror mixed with a little bit of comedy into it. Right. Fright Night is right in the mix of that. It's about this guy who, somebody moves in next door, and he suspects that he's probably a serial killer of some sorts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
he sees all sorts of fuckery happen.
Yeah, he sees all sorts of bad things happen. Then he realizes, holy shit, he only comes out at night. He only comes in a house if you invite him. He must be a fucking vampire. Not to mention the fact that the kid himself loves, like, late night horror movies. So him and a couple of his friends and Marcy from fucking Married with Children go see this guy who only plays in, like, vampire movies or whatever. He's not like a Van Helsing in real life, but they go to him just to see if they can help. And of course he thinks that they're just fans and they're fucking nutty, but he finds out himself, and it's just a big back and forth, and it's a wonderful movie. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor. Watch Fright Night.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll talk about Fright Night 2 in a little bit. I don't want to divulge into that. But yes, Fright Night is definitely one of those, like, love letter to the 80s. Like, you're watching a fucking 80s movie when you're watching Fright Night. It's very lovely, very spectacular 80s film. I guess I should divulge into my number 3. Number 3? That's right. We're on number 3, right? Mm-hmm. And mine's going to be dun dun dun. People are gonna get fucking mad at me on this one because I put this above Salem's Lot and fucking Bram Stoker. But whatever. It's from 1992, and it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, Buffy is great.
This movie, I think I've watched more than any vampire movie. I mean, Donald Sutherland, fucking Christy Swanson,
Luke Perry, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his fucking name.
Paul Rubin? Is that his name? Paul Rubin?
Paul Rubin, yeah. I mean, you follow this teenage girl that's a cheerleader, preppy and everything, and you think that, she's going to be this, like, preppy type, goody two-shoes, and she is, until she meets Donald Sutherland's character, come to find out that there's vampires, and somehow she's magically the one, which, the film does a very good job making you believe that she doesn't have it. But she does, and this is by far the best vampire comedy movie. Or it's the best vampire movie with comedy elements. It's not really a comedy, full-out blown comedy.
Yeah, it's
And
It's very reminiscent of like Fright Night that I just mentioned. It's not a comedy movie that centers around fucking vampires. It's a vampire movie that happens to have a little bit of comedy in it.
right.
That's exactly what it is. And it was a great movie. Again, another one that I rented from the video store all the time when I was a kid. And, several years later, they even brought it in as a fucking television show, and they had Sarah Michelle Gellar play Buffy, and that ran for 5, 6, 7 seasons or whatever, and it was extremely popular.
I didn't like it.
Well, nobody gives a shit what you think.
I don't care. This is my podcast too. Oh, and David Arquette was in it.
Yeah.
Pike, I'm hungry. Go home, man. You're floating. Fucking love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Number 2?
Number 2.
Well, you've already touched on it. It's Salem's Lot on my list from 1979. This is a Stephen King adaptation, and it's not a movie. It is a miniseries that is conducted as a movie.
Kind of like it.
Yeah. Directed by, like you said, Tobe Hooper, and, it's about this guy who moves into, this Maine town, because every town in a Stephen King book is in Maine. The whitest fucking town ever, which is cool. But...
You're an idiot.
But, yeah.
What's up, Reagan?
Yeah. Basically, yeah, he moves into this town, and he doesn't move into the town. He's from this town. I think he moves back. And then, he finds like this big spender who has this shop in town, but he's never seen. He's just being represented by this guy who's going around and saying, Mr. blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He can't wait to meet everybody. Of course, he's talking about fucking Nosferatu. So the best scene in the movie is, of course, the two scenes that stand out in my mind is the kid at the window at the other kid's house, which is creepy as hell, and there's a kitchen scene when you finally, at the end of it, when you finally fucking see the vampire, full blown. That's, the two best scenes. And to be a television film, much like it, much like most of Stephen King's, adaptations, they just hit different, man. They just hit different, and, the sequel sucks ass. Stay away from the sequel, Return to Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
They made a remake to this that Rob Lowe played in, I believe, in the 2000s. I'm not even going to take a guess when. But it's actually pretty damn good as well, but not quite as good as this one. But yeah, Salem's Lot's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't want to elaborate on it too much because I knew you was going to dive into that. But diving into number 2, 1996, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn good vampire titties. Yeah, I mean, you talked about the Titty Twister and all the great cast and everything like that.
Hey, man, we got a new flavor, apple pie pussy.
This movie, vampire, to me, the creepiest scene in this movie is with Quentin Tarantino, fantasizing about this little girl.
Yeah, you can tell that his character. His brother George Clooney is a fucking outlaw. He's a crook. He's all these things. But Quentin Tarantino specifically is a fucking sicko in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's fantasizing, and he thinks people say shit to him that don't really say anything to him. And you could tell he's like a rapist. He killed the fucking maid.
Yeah.
And he's just not a
good person.
No, and then you have George Clooney's character, which he can't really do anything because that's his brother, right?
Right.
All he can do is protect him and whatever, but even he gets fucking frustrated and mad with him because he knows how fucking sick he is. that's kind of like a subplot, prelude to actual fucking vampires.
Yeah. As far as vampire looks go, this is the most unique looking vampire movie.
Yeah, because
The
they almost look like
demons,
demons, yeah.
like,
They look a lot like the demons from Demon Knight. A
yeah,
little bit. But, which is cool because, I mean, both these movies came out at the same time, like 95, 96. So, Robert Rodriguez was one of these guys who, dabbled in the special effects, more so than Quentin. Quentin Tarantino basically just plays in this movie, and he helped write a little bit of it. He didn't direct it or anything like that. That was all Robert Rodriguez, but you can tell it was Robert Rodriguez's vision with an influence of Quentin Tarantino in it. So, because they grew up together, you know what I mean? Like, if you go back and you watch the Grindhouse movies, one is Robert Rodriguez and the other one is Quentin Tarantino's. So, one has a lot of action and CGI. The other one is a basic one about a dude who loves a car.
yeah. I mean,
You can tell the
cutting
difference.
pace.
Yeah.
But From Dusk Till Dawn is definitely one of the other, like, it's probably the most second watched vampire movie on my rotation.
It's a goodie.
It's a goodie. And I think your number one is my number one. And if it's not, you're a true piece of shit, my friend.
Well,
I'm hoping that it comes from 1987.
And as well as it should, and it should be everybody's fucking favorite vampire movie, and it's The Lost Boys. You want to talk about a cool fucking movie, man.
Oh, my God.
Everything about this movie is cool. The cast is cool. The non-vampire people are cool. The vampire people are cool. The setting is fucking amazing on the Santa fucking Monica Pier. You
just want to be there when you watch this movie.
Yeah, you want to be there in the 80s, fucking dressing like they do, fucking listening to the music that they're listening to, having a good time, being free. It's one of those movies where you can look back and you can tell this is the 80s, but it's such a good movie that it stands the test of time. So, in one hand, it's a moment in time, which is the 80s, but you can watch it anytime and wish you were there.
Right.
It's a great movie, man. And the vampires are fucking amazing. Kiefer Sutherland. I mean, this wasn't like a vampire clan that was just out, terrorizing people. I mean, they kind of were, but they were the kind of people that you wanted to be a part of. It was kind of like, oh, man, I wish I was a Lost Boy.
Right. The soundtrack in this movie, fucking awesome.
Yeah, everything about this movie was put together great, from the visuals to the sound to the directing to the moments of
storytelling.
The storytelling, it'll make you laugh. It had some scary parts in it. It was like, holy shit, look at that. Great special effects. Not over-the-top special effects, but just enough to give it what it needs.
All practical effects, too.
Yeah, I mean...
And Lost Boys has the scariest-looking vampires. Period.
I mean, they're pretty... They're pretty cool, man.
They're cool, but they're fucking scary-looking.
Oh, yeah, they got the light-up eyes and shit like that, and...
the fucking eyebrows and like it just God almighty, those eyes and that mullet will haunt you.
Absolutely. Well, those are our top 5. Let's talk about some other films
Talk about some other ones. Yeah. I was talking about Fright Night 2. Me and you watched this not too long ago, actually. It's free on YouTube if anybody's listening and wants to watch a fucking phenomenal 80s movie. Right. That goes unheard of. that is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where, for whatever reason, I had not seen before, and then when I watched it, I was fucking so into it. It was so great. It was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who also directed Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, and also directed Stephen King's It. We just talked about Salem's Lot earlier, so all of this shit kind of connects. But if you want to watch probably the most underrated sequel of the 80s, watch Fright Night. And, you know, we talked about Buffy and everything and how great that one is. Let's talk about From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money.
Oh my God, what a great sequel.
Dude, fucking Robert, what's his name?
Patterson?
Robert Patrick.
Patrick.
The bad guy from Terminator 2.
Or also known from the later seasons of X-Files.
Later seasons of X-Files. The T-1000, I think it was. Was it T-1000? He was a liquid guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of T-1000s these days.
But that movie is so great. In my opinion, it's... Dusk Till Dawn 3 is not all that great, The Hayman's Daughter. It's good for a watch or two, but I guarantee you, if you watch Texas Blood Money, you will fucking rewatch that movie again and again.
Absolutely. It's a great sequel.
When you have a movie that has Tiffany Thiessen and Bruce Campbell as just cameos in the beginning...
Which is crazy.
Yeah. They're just cameos. The rest of the movie is great.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, let's talk about Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood.
Yep, I got that on here. A lot of my favorite vampire movies are from the 90s. Sorry. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that I'm not more of a fan of the older vampire movies, but I'm not. I like the 90s. I think the 90s just got it right when it came to vampire movies. With the exception of The Lost Boys, but that came in the late 80s.
Well, what was he talking about? Bordello of Blood.
Bordello of Blood.
Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. I was about to say fucking Steve Miller, but
Steve Miller
was a band. Dennis Miller plays in this movie, along with another vampire favorite that we just mentioned in Fright Night. What's his damn name? Chris Sheridan. Chris Sheridan.
And David Arquette.
No.
Yeah, David Arquette's in this movie.
No, he's not.
Yes.
No, he's not. The motherfucker's name is Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I can't believe I just mixed up Corey Feldman and fucking David Arquette. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Anyway, Bordello's Blood is a great one to check out. We can talk about some of the early action ones, in the early 2000s, like Van Helsing and the Underworld movies and stuff like that. I
have that on my list.
Those movies are pretty great. Most of them are pretty good. There might be like one or two in the Underworld movie that might be shitty, but...
Van Helsing's just now coming around to getting the appreciation that it deserves.
Van Helsing is a great movie. It's kind of like they almost turned the Van Helsing character kind of into like a superhero type of deal with all these great characters in history. You got a Frankenstein's monster in it. Of course, the big one is the Dracula dude.
Dracula.
Yeah, you have fucking werewolves in it. You have everything. And I thoroughly enjoy both. Like Underworld and Van Helsing, who they pretty much came around the same type of year. Underworld kind of changed the game because they took vampires from being like bad guys to vampires being good guys to vampires being good guys, but other vampires being bad guys.
Yeah. It got a little crazy towards the end of it. But I think the franchise isn't bad. Like, I haven't watched an Underworld movie and been like, oh boy, what are they doing now? I've actually been thoroughly entertained by the Underworld. I almost said Underworld movie.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And, speaking of the comedy ones, I mean, we got to talk about movies like Vampire Kiss
Oh, Vampire, yeah.
and Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yes, with fucking Eddie Murphy.
And there's another one called Vamp from 1986 that's in the same category. If you've never seen that, watch it.
It has Jim Carrey in it.
No.
No. What's the vampire movie with Jim Carrey?
The vampire movie with Jim Carrey, Once Bitten.
Once Bitten. That's an okay movie. I'm not really too big on it. It's not as funny as I thought it was going to be when I first saw it.
Well, it's not Jim Carrey with the freedom of being an absolute goof fucking ball.
Yeah. I've got two movies that are kind of controversial on my vampire list to bring up. They didn't make the list, but would probably be in my top 20. Queen of the Damned. I actually thoroughly enjoy this movie.
I think this movie sucks dick.
Well, that's your fucking opinion, and
I think it's fucking
fuck
awful.
you and your opinion.
It's awful. It's goddamn awful.
You know what you can't say is awful?
What?
The soundtrack. Oh, fuck you!
I mean, if you want
piece of shit.
If you want to hear what Jonathan Davis sounds like with electronical music,
Get the fuck out of here. David Draymond, Trester, fucking Wayne Static.
ugh.
You're fucking trying to get me going, you piece of shit.
No, I will say that the soundtrack was pretty good. I actually had the soundtrack, but I still think the movie's a pile of dog shit.
I think it's fucking entertaining. I like the fucking movie.
Well, go ahead. I'm not saying. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Go ahead and tell me how Ghost Ship's a bad movie.
I like Ghost Ship.
Oh, you piece of shit. I
don't-
hope your diddly turns black and falls off in a crapper.
Well, same thing with you. You don't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer the series.
It's not the fucking movie. It took the.
It's not supposed to be the fucking movie.
What? It's based off the goddamn movie.
No, if you would have watched it, you would have realized that every couple of years a new Slayer is chosen.
I
and she was
know. I
chosen.
know how it fucking works. And guess what? They lost the fucking charm of the fucking movie that got me involved in the fucking first place.
Well, it won't for you.
No, it's for little girls like you.
No.
Speaking of another movie that's controversial, 30 Days of Night.
I don't think it's controversial at all. I think it's a great movie.
A lot of people shit on this movie.
Well, the sequels don't do it any favors. The sequels are absolutely goddamn awful. But
Yeah.
the first 30 Days of Night, these vampires don't fuck around. They're not here to be nice. They're not here to charm you. They're not here to trick you. They are who they are, and they're going to fucking kill you. When they see you, they have the animal instinct.
Yeah.
The classic Dracula or the classic vampire thing is they kind of trick you into believing that they're this nice person or, make you fall in love. These motherfuckers look awful, and they're out to kill you. Okay? That's all it is to it. And they don't even try to blend in with society. They know who the fuck they are, and it's kind of one of these things where we're taking over the human race. It's just going to be us. We're going to fucking pummel and pillage everything because we're hungry.
Yeah. I mean, they're just merciless. They're probably the most vicious vampires on film, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this was the first. I mean, they were so vicious in the films. Like, you can't even cheer for them.
No.
Like I think back to that one scene they had the lady. They were standing around the lady in a circle, and they all just and she's begging for her life, and they just fucking pounce on her like a pack of fucking wolves.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
You don't like these vampires at all.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Well, let's talk about some classics here for a little bit. You got the original 1931 Dracula with Bela Lugosi,
Bela Lugosi.
who started it all. And then you have what I consider even better than that, which is the 1958 Christopher Lee Hammer horror Dracula, which I think, I love me some Bela Lugosi, but I think Christopher Lee was the better Dracula.
I do too.
Christopher Lee, God, it's hard to say. Like, when I think of Dracula, I think of Bela Lugosi's picture. But when I think of the better movie, it's definitely Christopher Lee's movie. Same thing, John Carpenter's Vampires from 1998. That's a great fucking movie with fucking James Woods.
Oh, God, I forgot about that movie.
And there was another vampire movie. I can't remember the name. I think it had like kind of a Mexican name to it. But you remember? Fucking Bon Jovi was the lead in it.
Oh, fuck. Hang on. Let me do some Googling.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie on HBO back in the day. But it was like, I think it was Los something vampires. Los. Who knows? But anyway, both of those movies.
Los Mertos?
Los Mercedes.
This.
Yeah. You can look it up. Just say John Bon Jovi
It's
vampire movie.
Well, it's called Vampires Los Mertos. I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, this movie was a sequel to John Carpenter's Vampires without John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, some other good ones is, I mentioned Vamp and everything. If you ever want to see a really good foreign vampire movie besides Nosferatu, watch the movie Let Me In from 2010, there is an American remake called Let the Right One In, which is good too, but I suggest you watch Let Me In first.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I can honestly say that, the original foreign film is a little bit better than the American remake or whatever, but the remake is pretty awesome too. And, we cannot fucking let this go without talking about Blackula.
Yes.
I mean, for those of you that don't know, Blackula came out in 1972, and it does have a couple of sequels to it. Now, this might sound like a spoof to you or a comedy. It is not. It's called Blackula because it's the Black Dracula film. It's a Dracula who is black, and this is an uber fucking serious movie.
Very.
Yeah, and it's a good fucking movie.
It's a great fucking movie, actually.
Instead of like this whole, castles and all this shit, oh, Dracula, it's like, here's Blackula, the 70s fucking,
fucking
disco,
swagger,
yeah, and all that shit. It's a great film.
I mean, it's kind of, honestly, Vampire in Brooklyn, if you think about it, it's kind of like I ain't gonna say a remake, but took a lot of its influences from Blackula.
Yeah, maybe a lot of its style.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The look, the feel, the setting.
Couple other movies I want to mention here before we forget. There's a movie from 1985 called Life Force. If you've never seen that movie, you need to do yourself a favor. It was directed by Tobe Hoover. And this movie is about alien vampires.
I can honestly say I haven't seen this movie.
Oh, it's a great fucking movie.
I know what I'm watching tonight.
Basically, this space crew goes up to space and they see this beautiful fucking woman who they don't know how she got there or whatever, and they bring her back to Earth, and she's a fucking alien, but she's also a vampire. She walks around naked the whole movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And just watch it. It's by Tobe Hooper. The other two movies I want to mention is Interview with the Vampire from 1994.
I was about to bring that up.
Great fucking movie.
Tom Cruise.
There is a little bit of, in it, but
You can't see what he
it's,
just did.
look,
He bent his wrist, if
Look.
you know.
all I'm saying is that Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in this movie are a little fruity together. They never really show them, but I'm pretty sure they
You think they kissed each other's buttholes?
I think they sucked each other's.
Buttholes? Let me suck your butthole.
Yeah. And then you add in the weird fucking, Kirsten Dunst plays in this movie before
Yeah.
she, I think she was in this movie right before she got the Jumanji role. So she's like, what, 10 in this movie or whatever. It's a great fucking movie. It's just, you can tell that Tom Cruise plays that, listen to me, I'm the fucking leader, damn it. And
I'll slap you silly.
I'll slap everybody in this goddamn
Goddamn room.
room if I have to. God damn it. Anyway,
Some South Park references for you.
the final movie I want to mention is probably my favorite vampire movie, not in my top 5, and this is why I saved it for the end. It is Dark Shadows
Oh,
with Johnny Depp. I never watched the original show because it was more of like a soap opera
yeah.
type of deal. So
I
that
haven't
never
watched it either.
that never appealed to me. I tried to, and then I knew I wasn't going to get
You
into
were
it.
like, no.
But Dark Shadows, the movie, is fucking awesome. It's not necessarily a horror film. I don't know. It's kind of like, it is your typical Tim Burton film where
It
it's
kind of falls under the category of whatever you would put Addams Family into.
yeah. It's not
Addams
necessarily
Family, Casper.
It's not necessarily
Goosebumps.
horror. Shut the fuck up. It's not necessarily horror, but it's not comedy. It's a combination of both in a weird Tim Burton world.
Good birthing hips.
Yeah, and Alice Cooper, ugliest woman I ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to save that one for last because I wanted to stress how much I fucking love Dark Shadows.
It is an amazing movie. It's very quotable. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Have a family night because the whole family can watch this and be thoroughly entertained.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's just one of those, like I was trying to say before, he was being a cock sandwich. It falls under the category of like, are you...
Them dogs need to be quiet upstairs.
I hate you. Like, I love,
If you didn't hear it, people, I just shit my pants.
It falls under the goddamn category Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Casper, fucking Addams Family.
With a Tim Burton twist.
The Tim Burton twist. Let's talk about people's top vampire movies list. Are you ready?
First of all, let's say what site is this?
EmpireOnline.com.
All right.
I'm going to go over several websites. So
Okay. What is this? A top?
20, but I'm starting at 10.
Okay, let's do top 10.
Number 10, 1998, Blade.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad.
Failed to mention that one, but it's worth a mention, people.
Yeah, it's a very good action vampire movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I like all three. Don't give a fuck what you think. Number 9, From Dusk Till Dawn.
A little low, but at least it's on the list, I guess.
What We Do in the Shadows at number 8.
Never seen it, can't comment.
Right. Interview with a Vampire at number 7.
Okay.
So we're picking up number 6, Dracula,
Which one?
1931.
Okay, I see they put it on there for classic purposes.
Number 5, Let the Right One In, 2008.
Let the Right One In. This is
The American.
this isn't Let Me In.
No, this is Let the Right One In,
Let the
2008.
Right One In.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4, Near Dark, 1987.
Yes, if you've never seen this movie, this has Bill Paxton and Lance Hickerson in it. And it is a really good vampire movie, but because it went under the radar, a lot of people tend to overrate this movie. So when you see it, you go into it with big expectations, and it's just an average vampire movie at best. But it's worth a watch. That's just my 2 cents. Go ahead.
I agree. Number 3, Dracula, 1958.
Yes, that's the Christopher Lee version. At least
Yep.
they recognized which one is superior. Go ahead.
Number 2, Nosferatu, 1922.
The Germany version. Is that the German version?
I believe so.
Was it a
yes.
German movie? Or was that...
Yes, it was in German.
Okay. Okay, yeah. The
I'm liking this. I'm liking this website.
The Nosferatu is another one that we didn't mention specifically the movie, but we've mentioned the character. But yeah, that movie was great to showcase how creepy you can be in black and white and use shadows and everything. It was good.
I think it was considered the first movie to use prosthetic effects. Right?
I don't know.
1922? That would be
Might be, or it might be the first international movie.
maybe. Number 1. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The Lost Boys.
Well, can't shit on their list for some pretty good ones.
Empire. You did good. You did good.
You did good. You're not a fat piece of shit.
Bundy, you're not a fat piece of shit. You didn't put the midgets over. All right. Are you ready for fucking IGN?
Yeah, go for it. Top 10.
All right, I'm scrolling. Number 19. It's a 25 list. Of course, they always gotta do. Okay, number 10. Dracula, 1931.
Okay.
Number 9. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, 2014.
I've never seen it.
I-
I mean, I'll check it out, but, I'm always down to check out new movies, but I can't comment on this one.
Number 8. 1983. The Hunger.
Oh, The Hunger is a great movie. David Bowie plays in it.
Yeah. Okay, number 7. What We Do in the Shadows, 2014.
Again, haven't seen it. I've heard of it before, but just haven't gotten around to seeing it.
2008. At number 6. Let the Right One In.
Yeah, I wish some of these people would see the foreign film because
Yeah,
I think it's superior. But
Me
that's just
too.
me. That's just me.
Number 5. 1987. Near Dark.
Yeah, again, it flew under the radar in the 80s, so a lot of people overrate it. They really do. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just by the time people hype it up and you go see it, it's just not. It's not all that great.
Number 4. I think I'm saying this right. Afflicted, 2013.
Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Afflicted? Is that how you say it?
Afflicted.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Okay. Number 3. As I hit puberty. Nosferatu, 1922.
Okay.
Number 2. Thirst, 2009.
Thirst?
Thirst. It is a Japanese.
No, I haven't seen it, and if it's Japanese, no disrespect, but I probably won't see it.
Yeah. We've expressed our hatred towards
Most.
most Japanese horror movies. Number 1, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Well, that was a list.
Yeah.
No Lost Boys anywhere. No Dust Till Dawn anywhere.
They were in there, but they were past.
Yeah,
They were in the
point is they were not even in top 10. So
No.
their list is bullshit.
Next, we're going to do MovieWeb.com.
MovieWeb.com.
.com Underworld Rise of the Lycans at number 10.
Well, isn't that more of a werewolf film?
I kind of, oh my god. At number 9, Underworld Evolution.
That's maybe my least favorite one of them.
Yeah. At number 8, here we have this movie again, Thirst.
Yeah, okay.
Number 7, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
We're picking up. Number 6, Let the Right One In.
Okay.
We're seeing a common denominator. Number 5, Interview with a Vampire.
All right.
Picking up. Number 4, Fright Night, the original.
Okay.
Picking up. Number 3, From Dusk Till Dawn.
All right.
Of course, IGN don't. Okay, curveball, bitches. Number 2, Underworld.
Somebody really loves Underworld to put
I'm
this
telling
list
you.
together.
Number 1, Blade.
Nah, they
Yeah.
totally lost that one. They were,
They started to pick up and then fell flat
yeah.
on their assholes.
They fell on his earth.
He fell on his arse. I wasn't even there. Owen, I wasn't even there.
Well, do you got one more of these?
Oh, yeah, I'm saving the best for last. RottenTomatoes.com.
Here we go.
The best for last. All right. Do you want me to do the whole list, or you just want me to do 10?
Just do 10. I can't take a whole list right now.
Okay. Number 10, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
All right.
All right. Sorry for the dogs. Number 9, Horror of Dracula, 1958.
Horror Dracula. Okay.
Number 8, Dracula, 1931.
All right.
The OG. Nosferatu, 1979 at number 7.
Okay. They put the remake. Okay.
Vampire, 1932.
The Vampire. It's spelt a little Germany way.
Yeah, it's Vampyr.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Number 5, The Lost Boys.
Okay.
Number 4, Interview with a Vampire.
All right.
Number 3, What We Do in the Shadows. Number 2, you should know that it was going to be here at some point. Let the Right One In, 2008.
Yeah.
Number 1, Nosferatu, 1922.
I mean, it's not a bad list. It's just,
Better than all the fucking Underworld movies.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think Empire definitely seems like they have their shit together.
I was less offended by the very first one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to.
But point is, at the end of the day, we do love a good vampire film that tickles our fancy, as we've just mentioned today. So, whether it has comedy, action, straight up horror, or, whatever, if, you can do a lot with vampires.
Yeah.
The only thing you should not do, and absolutely not do, and I'll give you this, okay? I told you Queen of the Damned sucked dick, and I still think it does, but
Fuck you.
I'd still rather watch it than to see some goddamn sparkly vampires.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Twilight.
Well, let's not. Let's just say that I don't give a shit what side you're on. You can be Team Edward or Team, what's the other guy's name?
I don't know.
Exactly. A bunch of sensitive sissies is what I call them.
But they're sparkly.
Bunch of sensitive fucking sissies and their fucking 14-year-old fans arguing at Hot Topic over them.
I hate that female actor in Twilight. I can't think of her
Oh,
name.
yeah. She's,
Is she a guy now?
no.
Oh.
You're talking about,
Oh, the girl who played Juno.
you're talking about Kirsten Stewart. She also played in the movie Panic Room with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, well, you ain't gonna have a Panic Room too.
Yeah, we do not like those films. We don't even count them. And
Yeah,
I'll watch fucking 30 Days a Night Part 3 and Queen of the Dam Part 2 before I watch any of this shit. I'll even watch Dracula 5000 or whatever the fuck it was called. That horrible fucking...
Well, I want to state
Wes Craven
something
movie.
about Twilight. Before or if anybody says anything, well, you gotta watch them. I've tried to, on several occasions, to watch these movies.
Oh,
and
I did too.
Couldn't. Like,
did
I
too.
had to stop it because I was so, like, bored and not entertained and just, oh, God. I would rather watch two flies fuck than to watch Twilight.
That's the same with me. I back in the day when the first one came out, I watched about 20 minutes of it, turned it off. I couldn't stand it. I'm sorry. I just could not fucking stand it. Sorry. Anyway, that's our vampire reviews. And if you've learned anything from this little discussion today, it's this. Vampires suck.
I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder saying toodaloo.
Go home, man. You're floating.